What's up, bros? Me, the professor at asktheprofessor.com. And want to give a quick tip about you guys who are planning on moving overseas or just traveling overseas to go meet somebody. Okay, yesterday I was in El Paso, Texas. I passed across the border, went back across the border. And just so you guys know, whoever is in Texas and just wants to pass the border into Mexico, you can cross at Tijuana and you could cross at El Paso. I recommend going in the afternoon, about 2:30 in the afternoon. There's no lines. If you're coming into the country, there is no line at all. If you're going out of the country, that's a different story. But at 2:30 in the afternoon, there's nobody there. But what I want to talk about is when you're going into a country in Latin America. Now, regardless of what color you might be, whatever country you come from is going to dictate how customs might treat you. Depending on how you look, depending on the way you behave, the way you talk, how quickly you are with your documents. They're looking for any reason at all to prevent you from coming in or to give you just a hard time because they're bureaucrats and they want to give you a hard time. You might be looking for hidden racism. There's none there. You might be looking for somebody with an attitude. There's plenty of that there because these are people who have never held power in their life. It's their first time with a badge. But that's not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing at the border because on both sides you could go either way in either direction. So yesterday as I'm coming back, passing from El Paso, Texas into Mexico, in front of me are some very wet behind the ears American gringos that are passing into Mexico. Now there's not a whole lot of difficulty in downloading and paying for your visa a week in advance, and then as you pass the border you simply hold your phone up and go. If you're going to be staying here less than 180 days, you can literally just pass the border with no stamp, no tourist visa, and if you do get a tourist visa, it costs like $25. You got to pay with a debit card, and it's about 500 something pesos, which is about 25 bucks. Now, in addition to that, I just want to tell you about the attitude going into Colombia, going into Panama, going into Nicaragua, Costa Rica, the Dominican. You are a foreigner, period. No matter how well you speak the language, no matter how much you look like them. You could be Latino, coming from any other country, and you go to Panama, and you'll suddenly discover that Panamanians do not like anybody. They don't want anybody in their country that's not Panamanian, and they could give a shit. Okay? When you go into Colombia, they're going to be under the assumption almost automatically by the way you're dressed that you're there for their women or for their drugs, which a lot of people are, unfortunately. But that doesn't negate the fact that when you come into the country, people treat you like dog shit if you don't keep your mouth shut, have your documents in order, and be well dressed. The way I'm dressed right now, I wouldn't dare go into a fucking airport because people would judge you according to the way you're dressed. When I talk, if I don't try to speak Spanish, if I don't try to communicate in their language, they might give me an attitude too. So avoid these pitfalls. Don't overstay your visa. Don't overstay your visa. It's simple as that. Just don't overstay your visa. Just cross the border and come right the fuck back. It's that simple. You don't even need to get a stamp. So, don't waste time because, you know, really suck because one of these bureaucratic fucking rent-a-cops might block you from coming in. And, you know, once you give one person an attitude at the border, they're going to talk to all the other officers and talk about what a dick you are. So, to avoid that from happening, just do what I tell you. Have your paperwork in order. Learn to speak a little bit of Spanish. Be polite. It goes a long way. People in other countries are very nice. They are not Americans. They do not handle arrogance, egotistical princesses or princes that come waltzing into their country. So on a pro tip, I've been overseas since 1992, and I've been in Latin America for 9, 10 years now. So with these things in mind, I'm the professor at askprofessor.com. Check me out on Instagram, which is the Lance Thrower Podcast. you got any questions, hit them right there.